All right. Well, we will go ahead and get started. So my name is Julie Robb. I am the Community Relations Representative here at Ida Culver House Broadview. I know several of you. And then I'd like to introduce Brittany Bell, who is our Executive Director.
Hi, everyone.
And then the rest of my team, so Carly Christensen, who is the Community Relations Director here.
Hello.
And then we have Cheryl Weeks, who is on the call, but she doesn't have a camera, but she's saying hello. She might say something in the chat here. And then we've got Louise Reed, who is our Community Health Director.
Good afternoon.
And then we have Dana Sanders, who is our Life Enrichment Coordinator.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dana.
And then Brian Headland, who is our Food Service Director.
Hi, everybody.
So these are the staff members that are going to be answering your questions today. So we've got some really good questions that we have gathered from your email when we did the RSVP. So you guys were able to submit some really great questions, and it's been really helpful. So we're going to hopefully try and answer as many as we can. Next, I would like to introduce our residents who have joined us on this panel. First, we will start with Deanie Sanger. Hi, Deanie. So, hello, Deanie. How are you?
I'm good.
Well, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Next, we have Mr. and Mrs. Parks, Leo and Nancy Parks.
Good afternoon.
Hi there.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. And then we have Allison and Stuart Swanberg. There they are. All right. So I thought we could just kind of, just jump into it. I think the goal for today is just to have a nice dialogue with the staff and residents here at Ida Culver House Broadview, and to really give you guys a good picture of kind of the process of moving in. You know, what's the thought process when you are thinking about moving? How do you know when it's the right time? What does it look like when you do make that decision and do decide to move in? And of course, there's the added complication of COVID happening right now, and how do we navigate that? This past year, 2020, we were able to move in several residents, and it was really successful. It's strange to think that some of these panelists, the residents that we're talking to today, have not lived here during, non-COVID times, I guess you could say. So it's been a really interesting learning experience for all of us, and we want to give you guys the best information we can. I think if you guys have questions, I think the best way to do it is going to be to type it in the chat box, and we can answer those questions through the chat box. Yeah. Carly, do you have anything you want to add?
No, that sounds great. That's a great introduction. Thank you, Julie, and thank you everybody for being here. I've seen some of the questions that that you submitted ahead of time, and it looks like we're going to have a really great and informative discussion today.
Thank you. Wonderful. So I think a good opening question would be for Brittany, our fearless leader, to just talk about kind of the culture at Ida Culver House Broadview and what it is like here.
Sure, thanks, Julie. I have been here on this campus 5 years, almost, I think, going on 6. So it's been interesting to see the community really come together. We often joke that we don't allow mean people into the community. So if you're on this call, congratulations. You have been noted to be a kind person. But the community as a whole, what's been really interesting, the resident council group, the staff members, people are very neighborly. I come from Minnesota, and so the term Minnesota nice, it's what reminds me of who we are. when you come into a community or when you're touring different places, I very much think that there's a certain feel to communities. And either you feel it or you don't. And when you come in, regardless of what time of day, what day of the week, who you're with, you will see people smiling and saying hello. You'll see staff, people, it's a little bit corny, but the cheers, everybody knows your name. We're a large community.
When Julie isn't sharing her screen.
Very, very, very nice community together. And I think this year during COVID, the communities
Right
come
now, we're
more
seeing
together
Julie's
than ever before.
We're seeing Julie's screen.
Thank you, Brittany.
And Pam, if you want to click the mute, there we go.
There we go. Perfect. All right. Thank you for that, Brittany. I think that, yeah, it's a really wonderful group of people that live here with all different types of folks that are here. I think that my next question will probably go to Dana in Life Enrichment. Kind of piggybacking on Brittany's question with the different types of people that live here, what are some examples of life enrichment activities that your team has been able to do here recently? And how does that kind of fit into the different types of people that live here? We have people that are more extroverted and people that are a little bit more private, married couples, single people. How does that work for your department?
Right. First of all, it's extremely varied between pre-COVID times and present times. So what we tried to do, and what I feel that we've been very successful with and beyond, was take the regular activities that we had pre-COVID and apply them to what we call an in-house cable channel. And I think that you will find this in lots of other retirement communities, but ours is special. We have a very adapted team of life enrichment representatives who are able to work really well with technology. And we've been able to bring a whole bunch of live streaming programs that are literally streamed only to Ida Culver House Broadview. And those programs range from topics on humanities, history, music, also exercise. And then some of our people who live here at Ida Culver House also bring programs to the channel. So not only staff members bring in programs about their personal lives, but also programming in things that they are specialized in that they can share and teach to the residents as well. So with that, you are able to be secluded and isolated in your apartment if that's what you choose to do. And then at the same time, though, there's this real sense of connectivity because we have these folks who are teaching these lessons straight to Ida Culver House Broadview. Many of these folks who teach through the channel know the residents here. And the staff. And then the staff get to also communicate with you through the channel. We do also have a variety of activities that do get you moving around the community and out of your apartments as well. We have really fun things like scavenger hunts. We have outdoor socials in our beautiful tent that is just redecorated and really warm and cozy. You get to interact with staff members outside in the tent as well. And we also have beautiful concert programs that come through live the channel as well. And then we also have live performances that come to you in person too. We do circle the community with dance performances and musical performances, and you can come out to your balconies and listen and participate. And another fun thing that we're doing twice a month, well, we do the singing twice a month to you, and then we do bring a happy hour with treats and drinks to your door as well. So there's a really, really wide variety of activities that we offer. And if you want to know more about that, please ask in the chat, or you can call me too, and I can give you my number.
Thank you, Dana. That's super great information. I think that your department does such an incredible job, and you really help bring a lot of joy to the residents here. I am going to start with one of our residents panelists. I was wondering if Mr. and Mrs. Parks, if you could talk to us about a little bit when you first moved in here, what was it like meeting new people here? How did that go for you guys?
Well, it went very well. It's a two-way street. You know, if you want to meet somebody, oftentimes I think Leo would go up and say, "Hi, I'm Nancy Parks." And they'd tell me who they were. And and then I try to remember. Sometimes that isn't the easiest thing in the world, but then I'm old. And, we would meet for lunch and dinner, and you'd go to see somebody that you knew and try to remember their name. And that gets easier as it goes, see them more often. So I thought it was fun. It was a little challenging. And sometimes you can get off on conversations that go on and on and on. But I'll let Leo talk about that.
Well, I just want to mention that we do have a sponsor who is a couple or an individual who are residents who sort of help take off the sharp edges of, relocating and shared experiences. And they were very helpful. And what I liked about it is they were available when we needed them, and they weren't intrusive at all. I think it's sort of really interesting when you strike up a conversation. Almost the first question that is asked is, "How long have you been at Ida Culver?" And we're just astounded at the people who have been here for very long periods of time, and they are marvelous resources for things that we can do. It's been fun.
Good. So, because you guys moved in October of 2019, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you've been here for a while.
Yeah.
Let's see. I would like to hear a little bit from Mr. and Mrs. Swanberg about kind of the same question. You guys moved in July of 2020. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience on meeting people, new people here?
Well, we're coming in under COVID, so we didn't. I don't think we spent a lot of time trying to make friends and being real chummy with everybody. This COVID thing has really kind of slowed things down, but people are very, they're under the same situation. And they're very pleasant every time you do talk to them. It's a very warm, accepting sort of a place. I don't think when things finally get back to normal that there'll be any problems at all. And hopefully that won't be too long. We've already had our first vaccine, and I think another one's coming. So maybe this thing will break loose in the spring, and then we can all have a big party.
Yes.
Nice. Yes. Well, it's interesting, as the park said, making friends is a two-way street. Someone has to speak first, introduce himself or herself. And if you walk enough around the perimeter, you're going to see some of the same people at the same time of day, and you get to know them. That's how I have met people. And of course, if they have dogs, well, they're real winners, because then I want to know the dog's name too. And I'm more apt to remember the dog's name than the person's name, I admit. But it is hard when you're wearing a mask, because people can't see if you're smiling or frowning. But you learn to look at people's eyes, and you can usually interpret their friendliness or desire for you to move on down the sidewalk. So it has not been a problem.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that.
I wish that
I think our next question will go to Louise. So I think a lot of the folks that may be on this call kind of have an idea of the levels of care that we provide here. Can you give us a quick, just kind of snapshot of what Ida Culver House Broadview provides in terms of care?
Sure. So many of our residents are independent living, which means we can, from a medical standpoint, we can talk to you, we can make suggestions, we can treat in an emergency situation, but we can't treat otherwise. It's against the rules of independent living. Assisted living, we have quite a few folks on assisted living, and their cares range from not very many to lots. They could be just medication help. They could be just taking help with taking a shower, could include dressing, undressing, toilet help in the bathroom, escorts to and from meals and activities once they're back in place. So that's kind of assisted living, soup to nuts, really. We have memory care in our terrace on the first floor of the D building. So those are for folks, that's for folks with cognitive impairment. It's an amazing place. And then we will have more memory care shortly, well, in a few months when the renovation's done. And on the third floor in the D building, we will have assisted living plus, which is really for folks who have high physical needs, maybe two-person transfers out of bed and into a wheelchair, et cetera, et cetera. So pretty much take care of anybody.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much.
Sure.
I think that's something that all of us are pretty proud of here at Broadview, is having such an extensive level of care here really allows us to have the continuum of care, making sure that residents can stay here as long as possible, I think is important, really important to a lot of residents and family members. Speaking of important stuff, let's talk about food, Brian. All right, so I would love it if you could just kind of give us a snapshot of the menu here and an idea of the type of food that your dining room produces.
Very good. Well, I've been here for 3 years, if everybody wants to know, since that's one of the first questions everybody asks. A little over 3 years, but we currently serve, a 4-week menu. And what that means is it goes for 4 weeks, and then after we change that 4 times a year. And that has specials that go through that and rotate through every single day from Monday through Sunday. And what's great about it, it gives the chefs some time to create some of these items. And I think what they do a really good job at is making these dishes really, really good. They get from great sources here from the Northwest. And the reason why we change it out 4 times a year, we're able to take advantage of the seasonality as far as the foods. We do 2 specials a day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We currently serve, I would say that the residents here, they won't be surprised at this, but I will say 97% will eat dinner, and about 60% will eat lunch, and about 40% will eat breakfast. And what that means is there's 2 meals for your meal plan here, and that's what they do. For breakfast, we have different breads. We even have gluten-free breads, bagels, fruit, yogurt, some cold cereals, some juices, and coffee, which are popular. For lunches, we have 2 specials for the day. And I will tell you, we always have a soup of the day, and we have some really great people. I think the residents would attest. Our soups are really great here. And they might shake their head yes or no, but Stephanie does a lot of our soups here. And one of the things we do about a year and a half ago is we started, we were using a lot of salt in our products here, and we've now gone to reduce sodium with all of our sauces, soups, and bases. So I think that helps as far as just everybody in their lifestyle and what we're all going through. So also your options for lunch, you have 2 specials, but we also have what we call the left side. And currently you can always choose a hot dog, a hamburger, grilled cheese, turkey sandwich, fish and chips, or a veggie burger. And anyway, lunches go very well. At dinner, we have a little bit different. We have 2 specials once again. I was reading on one of the menus. We had, the other night, we had red wine chicken and Salisbury steak for our special. So you have an option of one of those. And then you always have a special. By the way, I like that picture of that lobster tail. That looks great. Then we have what we have on the left side for dinner. We always have a fish special, and it changes out every day. So you have the option of having a fish. Right now on the menu, we have Alaska halibut, and then we have a salad, which is a Southwest chicken salad, a Reuben sandwich, a pesto chicken pizza, and a cheese omelet. And those change out from time to time as far as keeping things fresh. And if you don't want to choose one of those regular night selections, then you can choose from this other side of the menu. And then at night, we always have a dessert special. And then I get to the bottom here, I'm gonna laugh because ice cream here, I don't know what it is about ice cream, but we always have 8 varieties and it changes out nightly with some different ones that we have for special. We also have sorbet, sherbets, and a sugar-free ice cream also. So I hope that explains a little bit about our dinner service, but it's really exciting to have a really good team here as far as servers and all the cooks that work with us in the back of the house.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Brian. And just so everyone knows, that picture of that lobster, that surf and turf right there, was personally consumed by me, and it was amazing. All right. Let's
Julie,
see.
this is Brittany.
Yeah.
I just wanted to answer, so one question that just came up on the chat that had to do with a comment that Louise had made about restrictions around independent living. So I just wanted to walk through that a little bit. So a main difference between someone on independent living and assisted living is for a resident on assisted living services, we have a joint contract stating that we are going to be partially responsible for your healthcare needs. What that means is that we would know who your doctor is, what medications you're on, what diagnoses you have, meaning that if there's an event that happens, the nursing team feels comfortable assisting and helping with what you may need. For an independent living resident, because we don't have all of that information, and in fact, we don't necessarily want that information, if there's a health event that occurs, we have staff here 24 hours a day. We will always respond, but because we don't have that information, we can call your family, we could call 911, we could call, get you to the doctor via AMR or some other medical transportation, but we're not going to physically treat you here. So when Louise is talking about the restrictions, that's what she's talking about. That's the biggest difference in terms of contract and services that we would help with.
Great. Thank you for that clarification. Brian, there is one question in the chat here from Miss Donna, and she is asking about, she says, is there any chance that there will be choices about the number of meals one receives each day and the kind of food that is offered? I eat very healthy and eat mostly vegetables and fruits. So could you respond to that, for Donna?
He's on mute.
You're muted.
I think it helps to hit the unmute button before you start talking. But that's a great question regarding our food. And I think that, you know, COVID has taught us a lot of things. And one of the things that, that we have done really well at, I know we've struggled, we have 22 pages for every meal, well, specifically dinner, of all of our residents' dietary restrictions. And they're all over the board, but I'll just give you a couple examples. You know, we have some residents that want low salt. We have one resident that wants, she's on the lunch and dinner program, and she wants 2 apples for breakfast. We give her 2 apples for breakfast. It's not a big deal. And so as far as allergens, we also have those, they're highlighted in red, and that'd be things like shellfish and different things like that. We also have residents that ask for they want double vegetables, or they want just chicken, or they want sauce on the side. And so we do our best with all the residents. We're serving about 280 meals a night for dinner. And we try to do our best as far as putting out everything that everybody wants the best we can. And everyone has got special stickers that go on everybody's box as far as their allergens or their preferences. And I hope that the person that asked the question regarding chicken or fish or vegetables, we'll take care of them. Does that answer it?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. The next question, I'd like to talk to Deanie a little bit about, Deanie, I hope you don't mind me sharing, but Deanie was on our waiting list for a while, and she reserved her apartment, and it was, I think it was great for me because I got to know Deanie with her being on the waiting list, and then she moved in. So I know that you have some friends that live here, Deanie, and I just wanted to talk to you about, what is it like living here for you and interacting with the other people that are here? Do you find that you have a lot in common with the people that live here?
When I was on the waiting list, I attended a lot of events, and you introduced me to a resident. And so I shared many meals with Frida over the months. And so I felt quite prepared. Right. So what was your original question? I got diverted.
No, that's okay. What is it like living here? And the specific question was, how friendly are most of the residents?
Super friendly. And the best period of getting to meet people was when the dining room allowed 4 people at the table. So that was a wonderful way to meet people. But I've found everybody is very gracious, including the staff. So I don't have any worries about that. In fact, I will just elaborate another second. I probably see more people here than I did when I lived in my apartment under COVID.
Yeah.
So that's been good.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you very much, Deanie. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Louise, I'm going to go back to you. When we were gathering these questions, we have some people that have some detailed questions about some of the care we offer here and how it works. One of the questions is, I have a really good long-term care policy. How does that fit in with living at Ida Culver? Would I be able to stay in my room and have extra help?
So the long-term care policies, they do vary from one to the other. In a general sense, they cover assisted living services. So they would typically cover help with bathing, help with getting dressed or undressed, help with transfers, help with escorts, things like that. Most of them don't cover help with medications, which is not great, but it is what it is. So if you're on assisted living and you have long-term care insurance, you notify your company, your long-term care insurance company, that you have started on assisted living. They then reach out to me. I reply to them with all the information that they request. And then usually they sometimes make me send the information 2 or 3 times just because they don't want to have to pay for you. But eventually it all comes out, and then it's just a monthly invoice that goes to them, and it goes pretty smoothly after that, probably most of the time.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This question I'm going to ask Carly. A lot of you may know her or have worked with her in the past. Carly's in the Community Relations Department. So my question for you, Carly, is kind of discussing the waiting list and how that works, and what is a typical time frame for someone who's on the waiting list before they can move in.
Yeah, good question. So most people who move here started on the wait list, not everybody, but the typical progression is people will, during their research process looking for communities, they'll join our wait list. Sometimes they're on other communities' wait lists as well. And we plan together over a period of time until they're ready to choose an apartment and move into the community. So there's kind of two different reasons that people might be on the wait list. One is because they're planning for some point in the future. So they're getting on the wait list now because they know they want to move to our community, but they're not quite ready yet. And the other reason is because maybe they want a type of apartment that's hard to get. That might be, one of our one bedroom den is a good example. We just don't have very many of that floor plan, or the cottages. Again, we just don't have a ton of them. So it takes longer to get one of those styles. So people might know they really want that particular kind of apartment. And so they'll join the wait list to be notified when an apartment becomes available to them. So it really depends on what somebody's looking for and what their plans are, how long they stay on the wait list. We can usually tell people, like, for example, if they're waiting for a cottage, we can usually say how long they can expect to wait. So maybe about 2 years. If somebody's waiting for a one bedroom and they don't have a lot of particulars about the type of one bedroom that they're looking for, it could be, maybe we have something available right now, maybe in a month or two, but it could be a much shorter wait. So usually we work with folks when they get on the wait list to determine, what their plan is. Are you joining the waitlist because you want to move in 2 years? Or are you joining the waitlist because you want the next cottage that comes available? So we try to respect people's timelines. And if you are planning for the future, we're not going to call you tomorrow to tell you to come look at an apartment unless you want us to. So the great thing about the waitlist, what I love about working with waitlist members is that we just become partners at that point, and we can start to provide people the information that they need at the time that they need it in order to make their plan and make the right decision. And then when it comes to being offered an apartment, once you're on the wait list, there's never any point in time that you have to take something. You're not obligated to say yes at any point. You can turn down apartments as often as you'd like until the time is right, or until the right apartment comes up. So usually we try to work more off of people's timeline to try to get people to the community when they want to be here, unless they want something that's a little bit more rare. I hope that answers the question.
That's great. Thank you very much. I wanted to talk to Mr. and Mrs. Swanberg. What, for you guys, what was kind of the point when you realized it was time to move? What was that process like for you guys?
Well, it is a long process, and of course it gets more urgent the further it goes along. And we knew, I think I knew for many years that I would eventually come here to Ida Culver. For one thing, my wife's mother was one of the first residents 30 years ago, and I became familiar with Ida Culver 30 years ago. And the food was good even then, and it's still good. So, we knew it was coming, and there was a point, it just got more and more obvious that something was going to bust loose. Mm-hmm. So I went to U-Haul and I bought a bunch of boxes, and I started packing up my house. A lot of stuff, old books, and it's just, you got to get a head start on that job. And, eventually something came up, and it happened very suddenly when it happened, but we were ready, and it all worked out pretty well. Big job, big job.
Yeah. We did. You guys had been on the waiting list for a while as well.
I think about 3 years, yeah. Mm-hmm. But we were familiar with Ida Culver long before that.
Right. Well, and I think that's part of the benefit of being on the waiting list. When you are familiar with the community, coming to events like this, getting to know the people that live here, when the apartment, like Carly was saying, when the apartment that you want pops up, you feel comfortable with saying yes.
Yeah.
we're ready to do that.
You got to get ready.
I couldn't do it
Yeah.
on, no.
No, it's a long process and you got to be ready to go. It's just kind of like buying a house. You know, you save your money up and save it up and you look at all kinds of houses, but finally you see one you like and bang, it happens. It's the same, it's the same thing.
Yeah. How
Julie,
about,
we had a question that came in through the chat about the wait time for a 2-bedroom. So we have a couple of 2-bedrooms that are available now, and typically it takes, I would say the wait time is about a month or so for a 2-bedroom. We've got several different sizes of 2-bedrooms, so sometimes people are specific about the style or the size that they want, but on average, about a month or so, and we've got some available now.
Sounds good.
thank you.
You bet.
How about Leo and Nancy? How about the same question for you guys? When did you kind of know that it was time to make a move? Because again, you guys were very similar. You're on the waiting list. I remember seeing you guys at events here.
Oh, as you know, we were on the wait list for about 2 years, I think.
That's right.
And during that time, you know, we would think about, well, what would we be doing at Ida Culver or, excuse me. And we had a very large yard, which I maintained. Excuse me. And I like doing the yard work, but after a while, it really gets to be a major commitment of time. And I felt there were other things that I really wanted to do besides pulling weeds. And I don't object sometimes. My son bought our house, and so he lets me go over and pull weeds every once in a while when I feel the urge to pull weeds. But it was a progressive thing. I'm glad that we had the interval. I'm especially pleased with being on the wait list because they were considerate of our time and our needs, in contrast to some places where we received calls and, you know, I still get emails from one of them, and I've told that community that we are already at Ida Culver, but I still get emails from them, which tells me they don't pay attention to what I'm saying. But anyway, Nancy also was very much involved in the decision.
Well, we talked about it for a while, and we would say, no, we're not ready. No, I don't know what happened one day, but we said, we're ready. And then we came over to Ida Culver and talked to Carly and Julie and said that we wanted a 2-bedroom apartment. And part of this has to do with health, you know, things in your body kind of go to heck. And arthritis is one of them. So when it gets to be X amount of difficulty getting up and down the stairs without looking like you're having a whole lot of difficulty getting up and down the stairs, it's time. So it was a lot of stuff. And we did wait long enough that, as I said, that one day it was, this is it. And maybe that's the way it was for you, Swansons, but
Yeah, it's the same.
that's the way it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Those are great answers. The next question is going to be for you, Brittany. Again, with some of the questions that were sent to us, can you talk a little bit about, you know, what you've seen, especially here at Ida Culver House, Broadview, for people transitioning into a community? The specific term was this is a big leap. So what have you seen at Ida Culver House, Broadview? How have you seen residents kind of transition and start to have a really great experience here?
So I typically am involved when we are signing the actual resident services agreement. And either during that signing, people are very excited or people look a little bit nervous. And so what I've come to realize is that this is a big decision for everyone. and it's going to look very different for every one of you. Even the residents that are here, that process is going to be different. So a little bit what Dana was saying, there are some people who say, I need to get my apartment set up and I want to be left alone for the next month so I can get things organized, so I can get things settled, and I want to slowly start to meet people and understand what the community has to offer. Others come in on day one to say, who are all these people? Let me meet them all. Let me find out all the information. So one of the things that the team here, I believe, does very well is forms to what you need. And we are there to provide however much or however little it is that you need of support. So we've seen people go through these transitions. Some people it's very easy, other people it's harder. And so we can help you along the path, whatever that path may be, and either introduce you to people or help you along. Probably the best advice that I give to new residents across the board is, and even for those folks that are waitlist members or for those of you looking to the community, is make the front desk your best friend, because they are the group of people, they know, I feel like everything, but they're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And as people are coming into the community, if they use the front desk, it seems to make that transition go much easier and better, because it's just one point person instead of trying to figure out who all these people are or what these departments are. It takes a lot of pieces to make sure that we're a well-oiled machine, and so that seems to really help people out quite a bit.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Dana, a quick question for you. It seems to me like something that's really popular is folks in our community starting to use, as you can tell right now, more technology. Can you chat a little bit about, how that's worked in the community so far? And I know Mr. Gearson is able to help folks out if they have questions to improve their computer skills.
Yes, so like I said before, we have some really great team members in my department. Right now we have 3 people who are quite adept at technology help. From 3 to 4 o'clock on a daily basis. We come to your apartment safely with a proper mask and shield, and we can assist you to the best of our ability. We solve probably, I would say, more than 90% of people's challenges with technology. Rarely we have to send you looking and giving you advice on where to go to get further help. We also have really fun activities going on too with technology. So we do have a weekly social for the residents that's hosted by Life Enrichment, and other staff members join too. And then one of our new members, who's just fantastic, also a musician and is able to contribute in a lot of ways, she's doing a tech talk, which is airing on the channel twice a week right now, where she, like the one that she just recorded today that will air next week, is all about Zoom. The one that aired today that she recorded last week was all about how to organize your passwords and some tips and tricks on how to keep track of passwords and how to build new passwords and how to remember them.
I
needed to watch that one. Yeah, so there's a lot that, yeah, we can help you out a lot with your technology here.
Great. Brian, another quick question for you. In the department, I know that there's been a lot of difference in the way that we are providing meals to residents currently, and then kind of the way that we had done it in the past. Can you talk a little bit about the meal times and how you do, like, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the timing of that?
Sounds good. We currently, through COVID, we're serving breakfast and lunch to people's rooms, and for dinner, we're serving half the residents in our Olympic dining room one night, and the other half of the residents in the dining room the next night. That's how we're just have this cadence as far as moving through the COVID. Prior to COVID, we were serving breakfast from 7 o'clock till 9:30. You can come in any one of that during that time. And lunch we'd serve from 11:30 till 1:30, and dinner from 4:30 till 7. What we see happening in the future is a change here at Broadview as we listen to our residents and listen to everybody here as far as the leadership team, is that we will move into, in the near future, opening the dining room from 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night. And you have 2 meals that you have here, and you can come in basically, just say you're a late riser, you can come in at 10:30 and get breakfast for lunch. And later, if you want to start, anyway, you come in twice throughout the day and have your meal at any time during that. So I hope that answers your question. I do want to go back to one other thing that was brought up before. And I saw something pop up on the screen while I was talking, but it talked about vegetarian options. And we have vegetarian options here for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's always one available. And there's other things on the left side menu that are vegetarian also. And I would say of the residents here right now, we probably have 7 or 8% of our residents here are vegetarian. And the other thing I didn't talk about a little while ago, because I know it's getting a little bit later, is that when you first arrive to Ida Culver House Broadview, we're lucky enough to have Erin here. She's a data entry clerk. And she's the one that inputs all the resident information regarding allergies, any dietary or specific needs that any resident coming into Broadview has. They're in the computer and they're locked and loaded, and it helps us as far as execute on a daily basis. So anyway, I hope I got to that question on vegetarian I saw pop up on the screen, and I hope that answers your question about the future of Broadview for dining.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Is there anything that our staff would like to specifically mention?
I can pop in. I'll always have something to say. I was thinking about that technology question, and those of you who use email proficiently, my department also sends out a page to your email that has all of the links to all of the programs and recorded videos that we've done here at Ida Culver House. So just a quick look at this piece of paper. This is one day of programming in these 2 cells, and the second day of programming. All of those programs that are not live are sent to you in a link, just in case you weren't able to watch it. And that's been really helpful for people lately as well.
That's awesome.
And I also want to mention Leah, our social worker, who is positively a gem. She has contributed so much to this community since being brought into this family here. And she also puts programs on the channel that are just priceless. Yeah, for help, for support, emotional support, and to help people really process what they're experiencing during this time.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point bringing up Leah. She has been very, very helpful. And I think that even to the point of where she's helped people that maybe didn't realize needed her help, you know, so she's got a lot of really beneficial programs here. We are coming up, we got about 7 or 8 minutes left, so I want to leave some space for some questions. I think if you guys have any specific questions, just type them in the chat there, and we'll do our best to get to those questions. I've got Daniel is responding to some of these questions. But this slide that you're seeing right now has some contact information. So if you have specific questions, usually questions that refer to, you know, maybe joining the waiting list or information about apartments, floor plans, costs, that type of thing, if you can email us at that referrals.broadview@airliving.com. That's an email that goes to all of us here in the Community Relations Department, and we'll be able to respond to your individual questions. I think that would make it a lot easier, or you can give us a call. So the last little portion of this that I wanted to dedicate some time to is going to be asking our residents and staff on this panel here to use one word to describe Ida Culver House Broadview, which I think is a really cool exercise, and it kind of stretches your brain to think of that word that kind of encompasses this entire place for you. So I'm going to start with Carly.
Well, while everybody is thinking about their one word, we did have a question earlier, just quickly for Brian about breakfast. Are there hot options available for breakfast?
There are. We have every day there's a breakfast special, and that is always hot. And we are actually serving breakfast hot in some of the residence rooms right now. So we do serve hot breakfast, but I will tell you, the most popular thing that's hot here is something called bacon. If we were to remove bacon from Broadview, I don't think any residents would come to Broadview.
Thank you, Brian.
Right.
Okay, my one word to describe Ida Culver House Broadview is kind.
That is a good one. How about you, Brian?
Home.
Yeah. I agree with that. Even though I don't live here, I'm planning for it for let's see, I've got like some years. So I have plenty of time to like save up, and I already have my apartment picked out. So just a time game now. How about Allison Swanberg? What's your one word?
Awesome.
Awesome. That's so great. How about you, Stuart?
Comfortable.
Comfortable. That's
Yeah,
great.
it's just like an old chair that you like to sit in.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Deanie, how about you? What's your one word you would use to describe Ida Culver House?
3, life is simpler.
That's the goal. That's so good. All right, how about Louise?
Safe.
Safe. Great one. Dana?
Louise took mine, so I'm going to say supportive.
That is wonderful. How about Nancy Parks?
Happy.
Happy. That's great. How about you, Leo?
Liberating.
Oh, nice.
Liberating. Oh,
Oh,
that's a wonderful. All right, Brittany, what's yours?
I think I would say grateful.
Yeah.
And one of the last things I'll just say is, you know, this past year has been hard, I think, for everyone with social isolation and with just not being able to see all of the friends and family. I think it's made everyone realize, whether you're an introvert or extrovert, how much we need people. And I think when thinking about the right time for Ida Culver House Broadview, even though, you know, we have restrictions like the rest of the state and the rest of the nation, for me personally, and I know other residents feel the same way, being able to come to the community here and being able to see familiar faces, whether it's outside on a walk like Mrs. Swanberg had said, it is a place of just when I think of the community, it's definitely a place of gratitude for myself of just being able to get through the year, knowing that there's stability, knowing that there's people and support. It's just been this is like my safe place and my happy place, just like a lot of people had said. So yeah, just wanted to end on that. But thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I really appreciate it. Nice to meet some of you and see your faces.
Yeah. Yeah, so, well, I guess I'll give you my word. Mine, I think somebody already said it, but comfortable is mine too. I'm very similar to what Brittany just said, is like, you know, being able to come to work this past year is like been my saving grace. My sister talks about, you know, how she's working from home, and I don't know if I could do it. because it just seems so isolating. And being here and having a purpose to kind of help all the residents through this has been the highlight of literally of my life this year, because of what we got going on. So it's been really quite the experience. Does anyone have, like I said, anything that they would like to say to follow up with anything or any questions?
The only thing I will add is that if you liked this event or if you have more questions, next month we are going to do an all resident panel that will go a little bit more in depth with what it's like to live here and people's decision-making processes and how long they waited and what their thinking was. So keep an eye out in your email and we'll send some information about the resident panel that we will do in February.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Carly.
And
all right,
yes,
everyone,
we do have a pool.
Yes, we do have a pool. I saw that. It is lovely.
It is.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. I really appreciate it. And again, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to call or email us. All right, you guys. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
That was spectacular.